Hi, tonight we're going to look at a flat earther that is new to this channel, NeeB Flat Earth, and he's going to tell us about meteors, comets and shooting stars. This should be quite interesting because it's something that flat earthers tend to keep away from. A whole bunch of people who definitely are stars are my amazing members and patrons. I want to give massive thanks to all of my supporting members and patrons. Thank you all so very much. So, Mr. NeeB, I guess you better get on with it. Roll VT.
Hello my friends, and welcome to another part of our Flatearthology. Comets, meteors and shooting stars.
Okay, Flatearthology.
This, friends, is something truly amazing that's happening right in front of our eyes. Spontaneous electric luminous manifestations. Have you ever seen one for yourself?
Spontaneous luminous electric manifestations. That's not what I thought they were.
Now, comets, meteors and shooting stars. So what are they? These very mysterious phenomena, or this very mysterious phenomena, taking place in the vault of the low orbit space.
They're not mysterious at all. They're fully explained. And what the hell is the vault of the low orbit space when it's at home?
These spectacular electrical spectacles that we can all see at the right time and place. So let's start with comets. Now these seem to be spontaneous luminous manifestations created by electrical reactions occurring in the vault of the sky.
No, comets are dirty balls of ice with dust and little bits of rock in them, and as they orbit and get heated by the sun, the dust and particles are swept away and you can see them as a tail. It's not electrical.
Now this explains their sudden appearances and rapid erratic movements across the sky.
Comets follow orbits that may vary from a few tens to thousands and thousands of years. It may be with new comets we don't spot them until they're nearby, but they don't suddenly appear. And they certainly don't move across the sky erratically. They follow exact orbital paths.
They make no sound whatsoever, and they follow certain constellations also on that same path around the plain Earth.
No, of course they don't make any sound. They're out there in space. Comets are moving at high velocity, but because they're so far away, sort of astronomical distances, they appear to barely move. So they appear stationary against the background. So as the Earth rotates, that comet appears to move around with the stars that are behind it.
Hence, that reoccurrence of them throughout our entire history and are also predicted.
Yes, they're predicted with orbital mechanics.
Maybe they obey the electrical magnetic attraction of the sun and moon.
No, just gravity.
Nevertheless, friends, seems that they always have this singular power of driving their comet tail away from the sun, however fast the comet may be rushing around the sun, and however long its tail may be, it is almost always found to stream in opposite direction from the sun.
The tails always point away from the sun. They're caused by the solar wind blowing the gas and dust away. In this case, comet nearwise, you can see two tails, a gaseous tail and a dusty tail. The dusty tail isn't affected quite so much as the gas. And when the comet has passed the sun and is headed out, it is preceded by its tail. It goes tail first.
Now to mention the first comet that was ever to be photographed, the Great Comet of 1858 was seen and observed for 269 days shooting across the Earth's sky, never once going or seen to be going backwards.
Well, of course it's not going to go backwards. How's it going to turn around?
Now, in the heliocentric globe theory, the spinning bald Earth belief, this most certainly had to have happened.
Oh, really? Do tell us why, Cupcake.
Because it's said that the planets are retrograding, moving backwards.
Do you actually know what the retrograde motion of the planets really is? They're not actually moving backwards. The outer planets appear to move backwards as we pass them. as we're in a closer orbit to the Sun.
As the Earth moves and orbits the 93 million of miles away Sun.
93 million of miles away Sun.
And that the Earth itself is supposed to rotate once every 24 hours.
Funny you should say that. That's approximately the length of a day, isn't it?
Now, this electrical spectacle of a comet was seen for almost a whole year, continuously moving forward and across the Earth's skyvault. Now, in reality, friends, this can only happen on a plain Earth.
Well, you actually haven't shown that that's the case, have you, friend?
Now, there are periodic comets or short period comets also. And for instance, Halley's Comet was last seen on February the 9th, 1986, and will next be seen on July the 28th, 2061.
So I would like to ask you, if a comet is not a physical object following an orbital path, how can we predict the exact time and date this electrical effect will reoccur?
And ask your heart, how can this be predicted when Earth, in the crazy heliocentric belief, is moving away from the so-called Big Bang?
Comets orbiting the Sun, just like the planets, are moving along with the Sun.
Is moving away from the so-called Big Bang at an alarming rate of miles an hour force.
Miles an hour force.
Now, meteors are also luminous phenomena, resulting from electrical reactions which occur in the skyvault.
Go on then, get this over and done with.
Even so, they are also accompanied by retinations, which means a backward impulse of an explosion, and also a sound similar to thunder.
Well, whether you hear anything would depend on how big they are and how low they get.
The height of meteors never seem to exceed about 55 miles above the plane.
Which will be because that's where the atmosphere starts to get thick enough to burn them up.
And it's known in the scientific community that the thickness of our atmosphere has actually been measured. Even though it's invisible, and since the firmament is the only surface on which the eye can actually rest on, it is clear that the thickness of the atmosphere means the height of the firmament.
So you are claiming a physical dome, and that's the height of the atmosphere, or atmoplane. So where the hell does Halley's Comet and the other comets go the rest of the time?
Some meteors are actually found on the ground that contain metals.
Those would be meteorites. And how are you explaining physical meteorites with regard to your spontaneous electrical effects that are shown in the sky dome?
And apparently, so-called meteorite ALHA 81005 was found in Antarctica. Of all the places on Earth, friends, to be found,
the Arctic and the Antarctic are actually wonderful places to find meteorites. They tend to stand out against the white, snowy background.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
But finally, coming to shooting stars. Now, this phenomena, not to be confused though with our beautiful and majestic normal stars, which form the constellations of the nighttime sky and that move at a very, very slow pace during those evening hours.
Yeah, that slow pace will be about 15 degrees per hour. Thanks, Bob.
And any such time-lapse video photography will conclusively prove 100% to the beholder that it is not the Earth that moves.
Yodelady, 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 hom, hom. Yodelady, hom, hom. Yodelady, hom, hom, hom. Yodelady, 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 hom, hom. Yodelady, yodelady, hom. Pom pom pom. Yodelady, 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 hom, hom. Yodelady, hom, hom. Yodelady, hom, pom pom pom. Yodelady, 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 hom, hom. Yodelady, yodelady, hom, pom.
Now, shooting stars more luminous manifestations which glide rapidly on the surface of the vault of heaven without any electrical discharge towards the earth below.
Shooting stars are meteors. They're burning up as they enter the atmosphere, and they're not large enough to make it all the way down and become meteorites.
On a clear evening, if you look long enough, you may see one shooting across the vault. They may be related to lightning.
I cannot believe you just said... Can you believe he just said that?
As they seem to be making a crackling sound like sparks.
No, the objects you see as shooting stars are typically the size of a grain of sand or a grain of rice. They're not going to make any noise that you can hear.
Small, rapidly electrical, moving meteors burning up inside the Earth's atmosphere plane.
You use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.
Thank you for your time with me today. I'm trying to do one a month.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this appears to be time of the month. Now, just by chance, on the 28th of February, a meteor streaked across the skies of the UK, and it was caught on several cameras. Now, this one was an absolute beauty and could be seen over much of the country. Certainly where I live, if I had been out and looking in the right direction, I would have seen it. It's a real shame. I'd love to have. Now, there's an organisation in the UK called UK Fall.
The UK Fireball Alliance.
Fantastic name. And they maintain a network of cameras looking at the sky, looking out for just this sort of thing. And 6 of their cameras picked up this meteor. They were able to come up with this following prediction of the landing area for the meteor. They predicted it would become a meteorite and land in the area of Winchcombe. Guess what? It landed in Winchcombe. The meteorite ended up striking someone's driveway. It was recovered promptly, within 12 hours, and so is in pristine condition. Thankfully, the meteorite has been handed over for scientific use, which is wonderful because this is a very rare meteorite. It's a carbonaceous chondrite meteorite. Of the 1,200 witness falls that have been recovered, only just over 50 are carbonaceous chondrite meteorites. This meteorite is very, very primitive. It will have been whizzing around our solar system since the very, very early days of the solar system, pretty much unchanged. So study of this rock is going to answer all sorts of questions. So to round up, NeeB, I'm glad that you're aware that there's such a thing as comets, meteors and meteorites. It's just a shame you haven't got the faintest idea of what they are or how they work. Until next time, stay sensible.
Shut up and sit down.